Hi everyone, happy Tuesday, happy Art Chat Day. If you're new here, I just want to give you a quick introduction. I'm Emily Gillespie, and I'm an artist that lives in Central Florida. I've been a maker for about a decade, and one of my greatest passions is cheering on other creatives and what they're doing. So these weekly art chats here on Instagram are a way for me to offer my thoughts, encouragement, and support to other artists. Hold on one second, let me fix this light. There, now it's not shining right on my glasses. So I'm glad you're joining me today. And today's topic is I wanted to talk to you about discovering your creative style. So every artist has a unique style or voice. It's a blend of our own personalities, our inspirations, preferences, experiences, and just general taste. It's a mashup of all those things and what we like and don't like. But ultimately, our voice or our style is how we stand out from everyone else. It's what makes you recognizable in a sea of other people's creations. There's lots and lots of artists and creatives out there, and so many of them are incredibly gifted, but it can be hard to make yourself known if you don't have something to identify you. So if you think about it in the context of the old masters, or even more modern artists, Degas can be easily identified by his use of the dancers. Gustav Klimt is known for his use of gold, mosaics, the female form, a lot of geometry in his work. We can usually identify pieces by Jackson Pollock or Alfonso Mucha when we see one. Salvador Dali's work is pretty self-identifying. Pretty much any notable artist from the old masters to today is going to have some kind of quality or characteristic that makes them stand out, and you're able to tell that, hey, that's them. That's a Picasso, or that's an Ivy Newport, that kind of thing. The one thing that all of these artists and all artists have in common is that these hallmarks of their own style had to be developed over time, often over the course of their lifetimes. Those qualities are based on their own experience. So having a style comes from experience, but when you're a new artist, that can be hard to figure out what exactly your experience is. So often it's easy to look at other people and what they're doing, to be inspired by them and then influenced by them. You want to make art that is good, so you try and emulate what has been successful for other people. The truth is, though, is that trying to emulate those things that make other people successful is just going to make you blend in with them. It's not going to help you stand out. It's not going to help you be your own artist. You really need to go through the work of identifying your own style. And that process of discovering and developing your voice is going to be a little bit different for everyone. It's going to take a different amount of times for everyone, as much as we would like, maybe, just to rush through it and say, aha, I found my style. It's not something that you can rush. So how do you go about finding your style? I've got a couple of tips for you. Tip number 1, identify elements from other art that you like. make a note of what those things are and think about how you can incorporate them into your own creative process. But then also you need to step away from those things. Don't look at what everyone else is doing, because that is it's a distraction for you. Things like social media, Instagram, Pinterest, TikTok, whatever is trending on there, in art magazines or art galleries, basically anything that is going to get into your mind and influence your thinking and your process, you want to watch out for that. Even if you admire what those other people are doing, because their work is awesome, having those things that they're doing in your head is going to lead you away from what is truly you. So be intentional about taking time away from those things, being aware of your outside input, and the things that are coming into your mind, and just allow your mind to have some quiet and space to reset, so you can really focus and hone in on the things that you want to incorporate in your art, without the other things that will just kind of muddle you up. Tip number 2 is to practice, and to practice a lot. You've got to get out of your comfort zone. So try all different kinds of things, try different techniques and different genres. And, you know, at this point, even if you're a more experienced artist, this work that you're doing, that's for you. So don't feel obligated to share it with anyone. Nobody has to see what you're working on. You don't need to show people in your life, and you definitely don't need to share it on social media, because we all know that whatever you put out there on the internet and on social media, someone's going to have something to say about it. And that, again, is just going to detract you from where you want to be going. So at this stage, you can reference the list of characteristics that we made in the previous step, and you can use that when you're creating. But again, be aware of how you're using that. You know, try and think of how can I incorporate these qualities without specifically trying to mimic the results or the aesthetic or look of what other people have done. It's really important to experiment with different combinations of these things and see how much they feel like you. Does it feel good to you? Does it feel true to your heart? Do you enjoy creating that way? Does it come naturally to you, or is it a struggle? Those are all things to think about. And sometimes the things that make your art unique aren't even something that you do consciously. For me, for whatever reason, ever since I started drawing, the people in a lot of my figurative work have disproportionately long arms. And I don't know why that is, because I don't draw them that way on purpose. It just happens. For a really long time, I would try and redo my sketches so they looked more normal or realistic, or rather representationally accurate for a human. And you know, they looked okay, but then they were no longer really me. The act of editing that unique characteristic took away from what made it authentic to me. Tip number 3. Think about what resonates with you. And this could be subject matter, your color palette, brushwork, style, mediums, and so on. Think about what you like best. What makes you happy to work with and to work on? What brings you joy? What do you like to do? Do you like to paint, or do you like to work with clay? Do you like to sew, or do you like to garden? those things are pretty basic, but they're going to have a big impact on how you channel your creativity and your inspiration in your voice. What are your favorite tools and materials? Also, pay attention to what you notice around you in the world. Things like patterns, themes, architecture, designs, positive and negative space, genre. Those are all just a few things to look at. And I really recommend recording those observations in your notebook or in an art journal for later reference. You know, or even if you don't have one of those with you, just snap a picture with your phone and you can go back and record it in your journal later. Because the more you do that, the more you're going to build a library of the things that are inspiring to you. So you'll be able to go back later and find those inspirational snippets and, you know, maybe incorporate them into your next piece. So those are just a couple ways to hone in on your personal voice. There's a lot of other ways, but today we've talked about gathering inspiration from other artists, the importance of practicing, and the art of observation. The really fascinating thing, I think, is that your own unique style isn't permanent. It's never going to be done or completely dialed in, but you get to keep learning and working and evolving over the course of your entire creative career. You'll grow and change. You'll move away from some things and find new inspiration in other areas. You'll learn and improve in your technical skills, and your eye and your taste will also develop. You'll have the opportunity to explore and to get to know your voice all over again. It can be challenging to find and keep track of your creative style, but like anything else, if you put in the time and effort, you'll find the reward at the end of the process. Before I wrap up for tonight, I wanted to remind you that there's still time to shop my online store before my December 15th shipping deadline. There are ornaments, and if you missed it last week, I shared some new pieces of abstract art that I just also added to my website. You can join my mailing list to make sure that you're one of the first people to know about upcoming art collections, studio news, excuse me. You'll also get monthly inspiration, behind the scenes info, and access to early shopping before it gets released to the public. You can go to emilyjalewski.com to sign up. I hope you go and sign up because I'd love to have you. I'd love to get to know you more, and I would really love to cheer you on in your own creative endeavors. So I hope you guys all have a great week. I will see you guys back here next time, next Tuesday, 6:30 Eastern Time, here on Instagram. Bye.
Sorry, I was loud.
No, I didn't hear you.
I took 2 gas stations.